All right, hello. I'm going to go ahead and get right into this as I've been wanting to do videos on the upcoming holidays, pagan holidays coming up, and we know that Halloween is coming, it's approaching very soon, so I want to do a video on that, and then eventually I'll do Christmas and Easter. And I just want to bring some understanding, some knowledge to the origins of these, and how Satan is using them as his counterfeit to cover up our Father in Heaven's true biblical feasts, his holy days. Because the earth, everyone here, we've just been following just the traditions of men, thinking that things are okay. And it is high time to be waking up to these things, to see what Satan's deceptions are. I know a lot of people are waking up to the lies, the deceptions going on in this world. But I want to start with Mark 7:7-8. It says, "In vain do they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. You leave the commandment of Yah and hold to the traditions of men." And that's exactly what we've been doing. And we know that Satan is the god of this world. He is, he's in charge. And it says in 2 Corinthians 4:4, it says, "In their case, the god of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel of the glory of Yahusha, who is the image of Yah, his Father." So we know Satan knows exactly what he's doing, how he's working in the churches, these things to keep blinders on people. So, and we have all been indoctrinated. So with Halloween and the other ones, we've just been, and especially Halloween, just thinking that it's just harmless fun. Dressing the kids up, passing out candy, doing pumpkins, having parties, that it's just harmless fun. I know because we were part of it for many years. We did it with our kids. We would even dress up. We would take them trick-or-treating. We did the whole thing thinking, we're just having fun. Not realizing what was behind it. We also thought it was okay because all the churches that we attended, it was, they were doing fall festivals and trunk-or-treats and all these things. And so we're like, oh, it's not that bad. I guess we can just kind of blend in and enjoy it. And so after much study and conviction, and understanding then the true biblical feast, that made it even more prominent to understand what Satan was up to with these pagan feasts. He is truly pulling people to his side, having them worship his holy days. And so, and we didn't know that. And we must understand the agenda behind Satan and his counterfeits and the lies that he's telling, especially with time so short. He knows it's short. And 1 Thessalonians 5:21-22 states, "But test everything, hold fast what is good, abstain from every form of evil." So we should question every tradition that we have been following, every tradition that is taught. In this world right now, we should question, we should study it out. Everything that I'm telling you in this, Google it, pull it up, search it out for yourselves. Look at the scriptures, look at history. It's all there. We just need to take off the blinders, see these things. And so literally when we are observing Satan's holidays, we are literally dealing with the occult. This is very serious topics, which is why I'm doing these videos. And many scriptures in the Bible told us that this would happen, told us that this is what men would do. And Jeremiah really spoke on this if you read Jeremiah 7. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the pagan origins. It's pretty crazy. I apologize, part of it, but they're facts. You can pull them up. It's how it started. So Halloween began over 2,000 years ago. It was an ancient Celtic holiday. The Celtics and Druids were devil worshippers performing evil rituals. So full of witchcraft. It was just pure Satanism, paganism. And it all traces back to, it's pronounced Samhain. It's spelled Samhain. And that was the ancient Celtic festival honoring the Lord of Dead or darkness. And so Samhain was their celebration, celebrating the end of summer. So it was the change of weather where things were dying off. And that was on November 1st was the day that they did that. So ultimately they were celebrating death. And the highlight of their rituals and their celebrations was performing sacrifices, animal and human, and child sacrifice, Baal worship. And you will see when I explain Easter and Christmas how all of it ties together. The puzzle pieces start coming together, and it's sick, actually. I mean, it's horrible. And so, but this is why we must know these things. So the Druids' New Year was considered November 1st. Therefore, the day before was October 31st, being their New Year's Eve. And then in the 7th century, Pope Gregory I, he wanted to draw the Celtics in as the Catholic Church was growing. So they were spreading, they were growing, they wanted to bring people in. So rather than converting them, they actually adopted their customs and traditions. But rather than calling it Samhain, they called it All Saints' Day on November 1st. And Hallow means saint. So they were commemorating the dead saints of the church. The day before All Saints' Day was the Eve. And so Een is actually, E-E-N is a contraction of Eve, therefore it made it Halloween. The eve of All Hallows' Day. So the day that people worshipped the dead. And then in 835, Pope Gregory IV blessed All Saints' Day as a sacred day of obligation. Consequently, on that day, the Catholic Church officially ordained Halloween. So basically, Halloween is still around because the Catholic Church. It could have been fizzled out long ago, but the Catholic Church kept it resurrected. And you see how bad it is anymore. Brad and I are saying, Halloween gets worse every year. The evil that's out there. It wasn't that bad when I was younger. I mean, the holidays always represented and worshipped what I'm telling you here, but it's getting really bad. So the Celtics, so they believed in these rituals and in the Samhain, they believed that the dead spirits would come back and walk among the living at this time. So another reason why you should know the state of the dead, I have a video on YouTube that you can watch on that. Because of the evil worship and evil sacrifices, Halloween is celebration of the dead, of death. Now I'm going to go through a few things, the traditions that are followed during Halloween, just so you know the origins of, a bonfire. We do it at Halloween, but we also do it other times. But bon equals bone. So that's how bonfire came about, because they called it that because of the bones that were left in the fire after the sacrifices that they were doing. Pretty gross, pretty horrible. And then trick-or-treating. Now we have trick-or-treating, right? Parents take their kids out, kids will go out, dress up. So that originated is that they would set food out for the evil spirits, and then if they didn't set out enough, or if they didn't set any out at all, then the evil spirits would trick them or actually torment them. Costumes, fix our kids up, even adults now. There's always big parties. You know, everyone's dressing up, drinking, going to these things, having these extravagant parties, just thinking they're just having fun and enjoying it. But now the costumes. So here's the costumes. The people that were going around getting the sacrifices, so they would go door to door trying to find sacrifices, they feared the evil spirits. So what they would do is they would dress up to disguise themselves to look like them, or even more evil than them, so that the evil spirits would either leave them alone or they would accept them. And the person that was wearing the mask, dressing up, they felt a transformation, as though they were not themselves, as though they became the god or the demon that represented the mask. And regarding this, I could do a whole nother video, which at some point I will, on masking. Think of Hollywood, think of movies and TV and actors. They're putting on masks. They're pretending to be somebody that they're not. There's even celebrities, Jim Carrey being one, that won't even watch his own movies because he says something takes over my body. I don't even know what I'm saying or what I'm doing, and it scares me to watch myself on there. That's with a lot of those celebrities. And so, and you see there, this world is a stage. There's a lot of acting going on right now. So connect the dots on that. Again, that could be another video that I'll have to do at some point. Back to this jack-o'-lantern, carving pumpkins. This is really morbid. So because of their sacrifices, it was the jack-o'-lanterns, it was, they were severed heads. They took the heads from their sacrifices and they decorated their houses with them. And that's when carving pumpkins, because originally people would just carve, now they carve kind of lots of different things, but it was faces on them to make them look like these heads. So, yeah. I hope y'all are having the eyes to see these things, because this is literally dancing with the devil by celebrating these things. Even if you think it's just innocent fun, it's not. We're worshiping the wrong God. Halloween is among Satan's most cherished days, and a lot of you are familiar with Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan and the author of the Satanic Bible. He writes, Halloween gives even the most mundane people the opportunity to taste wickedness for one night. They have a chance to dance with the devil. I see Satanists all over the world meeting in small groups this night and Halloween's 500 years hence to raise a glass to the infernal hosts. So I look at it as the black magic and white magic. White magic being like Easter and Christmas, black magic being like Halloween. It's very blatant. People see these days you've got heads hanging from trees, evil witches, evil, just pure evil. It's horrible. But then the other ones is like the white magic. It is all evil. It is all worshiping the same God, the God of this earth, Satan. You just have the white and you have the black. And I'll get into the other holidays in my other videos. So I want to read a few scriptures here. Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yah and Mammon. So we can't be, if you're serving one, then you're rejecting the other. So there is no middle ground. And if you're playing middle ground, that's playing the lukewarm card. And if you read Revelation 3:16, it says that the lukewarm are going to be spewed out. So we've got to choose a side. And 3 John 1:11, Beloved, do not imitate evil, but imitate good. Whoever does good is from Yah. Whoever does evil has not seen Yah. Romans 12:9, let love be genuine. Detest what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. And Proverbs 8:36, but he who fails to find me injures himself. All who hate me love death. And this Halloween is celebrating death. Even if we think it's cute, innocent fun, it's not. We've got to know the origins. We've got to know what we're doing. 1 Corinthians 10:20-22 says, no, I imply that what pagan sacrifice they offer to demons and not to God. Yeah. I do not want you to be participants with demons. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake of the table of the Lord and the table of demons. Shall we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? So like I was saying, you can't play the lukewarm card. He is like, guys, wake up. You are worshiping the wrong God here. And, these churches teach once saved, always saved. That is the biggest lie. That is not true. If we are celebrating these things and we're learning, we have an opportunity to wake up. We were doing this just until not long ago, just a very recent few years ago. We were doing all these things, but we just had to recognize it and go, all right, we want to know the truth. We've got to study this out. We need to be convicted, and we have got to stop following the God of this earth, because it is a dangerous road if we continue to do this. The day, judgment is still left. We still have the Day of Atonement. Romans 12:2, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. We must have discernment to these things. We must see these things, study them out. Like I said, pull up everything that I'm telling you. You can Google it. You can see it for yourself. And then, so by celebrating these pagan days, you're actually ignoring the true biblical feast, and we are rejecting Yahuwah. The scriptures tell us all over the place the feasts were never done away with. They continue to be observed after Yahushua died on the cross. The disciples observed them. I mean, if you want to, for starters, just read John and Acts. But it is all the way through. And once you start seeing these things, it helps you because you recognize the pagan origins, you see what Satan's up to, and then you see what he's counterfeiting. And we are told to observe them through all the generations and in the future as well. And you can pull up Zechariah 14. I mean, these are just a few of the many, many scriptures. Ezekiel 45 and 46, Isaiah 66, verse 22 and 23 is very good. The feasts are declaring the true gospel. And the feast, there's 7. And 7 is Yah's perfect number. So you have Passover, you have Feast of Unleavened Bread, you have First Fruits, you have Pentecost, you have Trumpets, and then the Day of Atonement, and then the Feast of Tabernacles. And so they are all together the complete plan of salvation and redemption. We were told many times they're done away with, they're done away with. We would even tell people they're done away with. We weren't looking in the scriptures. Until we looked in the scriptures, that is when we started seeing it. And so the redemption, so this whole plan of salvation, there's redemption through the blood of Yahushua if we walk like he walked, right? He came to be an example so that we could walk like he walked. The law was never done away with. And people say it was done away with so I can sin. Well, that's a perfect way for the devil to hook you in. If you're sinning, you're going to worship the wrong God and you're going to go the wrong direction of what you're thinking in the end. So read all of Romans 3, all the way through, not just the parts that you want to pick and choose, saying I'm saved by faith. If we love him, John 14:15, if we love Yahushua, we will keep his commandments. So we must live out the law as he did. That's why he came to show us how to live these things out rather than following the ways of the world. He was then the first fruits of the resurrection, and then his spirit leads us and teaches us. So this is Pentecost, leads us and teaches us so that we can spread the gospel and the truth. And then the trumpets, they're preparing us for judgment. And the Day of Atonement, that'll be final judgment. So Seventh-day Adventists, it is not in 1844. Go watch my last video. We have that yet to come. So all of these feasts, and then the last one, Tabernacles, and that is when Yah's people are going to tabernacle with him forever. It is beautiful, the whole plan of redemption, when you understand the true biblical feasts and we quit celebrating Satan's feasts and his holidays. Leviticus 23:2 says, speak, because some will say, oh, those are for the Jews. No, it's not for the Jews. Again, I would say these things too. But when you study it, you will see it. It says, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, concerning the feasts of Yah, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. Right there he says, these are my feasts for everywhere. I mean, they are his feasts for all of us. And so again, I hope that you all have eyes to be able to see these things. Study it out. It takes time. It took us time. It was really difficult, as Christmas was my favorite. And, and we did all these things. But then when we were convicted and we're like, okay, I'm not going to do this, we saw even more truth that we were open to. And once your eyes are open, you'll get it. And so just please study these things out. And I'll be doing other videos, but in the meantime, other videos, and then I will be doing Christmas here eventually and the origins of that. So thank you. Y'all have a blessed day.